behavior management.
Yes.
Okay, if you were to, I'm going to use AA's own words. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I'm not by any means an expert. I was assigned to research this, so I've looked at the first 5 steps, and I've looked at some things and studied this. I love the fact that they want to help people. That's true. And oftentimes we want to help, but sometimes what is our help is sometimes we become an enabler rather than somebody to help set them free. So in the behavior management, it says this on their webpage. Step 6 requires participants to become willing to look at their negative qualities and ask their higher power to help them change. And I just want to look at this in Luke chapter 6, verse 43. It says this: "For no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor are grapes picked from a bramble bush. The good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of the evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks." And so, one of the things I see that is behavior management is rather than dealing with the heart, they are trying to have behavior management. And the way that you keep your behavior in check is you analyze yourself. You have people that will be people that you can call, and there can be some good things about that. I know that if I'm tempted to sin, I should call a brother and say, "Help out here." But the behavior management is treating the symptoms rather than the heart, and we should always be looking at the heart. I golf sometimes, and one of the things that happens on the golf course is they pair you up with different people. And when I'm out there, inevitably there will be somebody cussing up a storm. And the minute they find out I'm a pastor, you watch their language change. Why? That's behavior management. But their heart is true to the cussing and the swearing. What we want as biblical counselors is we want people to know the abundance and the joy of it is to follow Jesus Christ. And we follow Christ not out of fear of punishment, but out of reveling in his glory and knowing that he is good and that he is there for us. And he's not this God that is there for just our comfort, but he's there to take away the sins of the world. And in that beauty of who God is how we are motivated for a change of heart rather than, well, my family's going to lock me up if I continue to drink alcohol and be drunk. And so we want to work with the actions of the heart. And that takes a lot of time, but it's worth it and it's more lasting. Because one of the things in behavior management of AA is they say you are always a recovering alcoholic. And I hate to have people have that label on them because I'm getting ahead of my notes here, but let me just say this. If anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come. And God does that. In our weakness, that thorn in the flesh, that struggle that we have, God replaces those urges and gives us a desire to be holy and follow him. Because as another verse says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And so what I want to do is actually found in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. God says this, he says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And so one of the ways to help the drunkard overcome is God's method is because of the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, that God would be glorified in redeeming, okay, not restoring. Restoring means you put it back to the condition they were in before. But the redeeming, he makes us new. He buys us back, pulls us out of sin, and sets us up as his children. And therefore, we become his children. And I love to deal with people that have been addicted to see them set free because they become some of the greatest worshipers in the church. And that comes not out of behavior management because somebody's watching them. Doing some Bible study, there are 712 verses in the ESV that deal with heart. Now, not all of them are dealing with the spiritual heart. There's some talking about the physical heart. But think about this. When the Bible talks about the heart, it's regulating behavior. So it starts there rather than while somebody's watching.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's the starting place.
The starting place. We should always start with the heart.